नमस्ते, Jai Shri Ram Sathiyon. We have been listening for these 3 days naturally about events of 7,000 years, 14,000 years, or even 21,000 years. So now I'll try to talk about what is important today for me and probably for most of you. I'm going to talk about the values, Hindu values, Hindu identity, Hindu culture. The reason is very simple. We all know that we had a tough time since last February. When this event was there between Russia and Ukraine, and people in Europe started thinking about, talking about, discussing about Western values, Christian values, Christian culture, Jewish identity. And this all made me think about myself, about what is my identity, what is my culture, what are my values. And this is a subject which I've been thinking and reflecting since many, many months, and I would like to share my views, or I would like to know your views as well on this interesting topic for us for day to day. So thank you very much for the organizers, Gumashta ji and others, for inviting me to talk about this. This is what I'm going to talk. How can the ethics of Ram and Krishna lead us to our values as Hindus today? I'm talking about our situation today. So I'll be very happy if you start thinking and reflecting in terms of what is important for you today or tomorrow. The values, what I'm going to talk about is quick overview. We'll be talking about Ram of Ramayana as we know, Krishna of Mahabharata as we know. We'll reflect back on the values, and probably if you have some time, we'll be talking about our USP, unique selling proposition of more than 1,000 million strong Hindus internationally. I'm talking about internationally because I started thinking about myself, and I am an Indian as most of you are. I'm born and brought up here, spent about half of life here and half a life in Switzerland. Naturally, both half are not the same. First half is a constant small half, and the second half is an increasing Swiss half. I studied here in India and also in Switzerland. And then I got married there, so I have 2 kids as well, based on our principle of hum do, hamare do, or ek beta or ek beti hai, and ladies first. So first is a daughter called Priya, and second is a son called Gopal. And we all also reflect about our situation. So Bharat is my Matrubhumi, and Switzerland is my Karma Bhumi. So, what are our values? What is my identity? What is my culture? Who am I? And I'll be very happy if you can also express, if you talk loudly, raise your hand, and then someone with a microphone will be around you. What do you think? What are your values, your personal values? What do you think is your identity or your culture as a Hindu? Any response? Just talk loudly, and there will be someone with a microphone, I hope. Or someone here in the earlier rows here, please talk loudly. I'll be very happy if there will be some voices who can mention what do you think are your values. We all have different identities, but one of them is being a Hindu or being an Indian.
Sir.
What do you think are they?
Sir,
Yes, please.
so my name is Parth Parmar. I am from Jabalpur, and in one line I would like to tell you that my identity of proud Hindu born in a great India.
Thank you. और कोई बोलिए, please get up and say something.
I'm so proud that I got birth in the world's oldest civilization, and I'm so proudful of it. Being a Sanatani, so-called Hindu.
Thank you, thank you. Any further voices about, this is about our values. You see, for example, when you ask some Swiss about the Swiss values, then the Swiss would say, we are punctual, we are reliable, we are exact, and that kind of thing. And they would say, we are neutral. Naturally, the Swiss definition of being neutral is doing business with both the parties. Very often I feel that the Indian definition of neutrality is not doing business with both the parties. I mean, this is a basic difference between the two cultures.
Yes.
Anything else?
Being a devout Hindu, I recognize Siya and Ram manifest in all human beings. In fact, all organic forms. Thank you.
This is something great. See, this only shows that how great, how large thinking the Hindu philosophy is. Thank you very much. I have also made some remarks also. There are historical and geographical parameters of deciding factors for what we are. As you know, it's an itihas of thousands of years. This is what decides our culture. This is what decides our values. This is what decides our identity. Naturally, we have, as we have been seeing, Vedic documents, Upanishads, Puranas, Shrutis, Smrutis, and naturally there are recent invaders, or let's say influencers, and Hindustan or India has its very flexible borders when you look at the geography or the maps of the many, many years. But let's keep in mind, when we are talking about Hinduism, or when I say Hinduism, I'm just using it's a convenient term. I really also mean it's a Vedic Sanatan Dharma. But so Hinduism is in the framework of the world religions. So when you are moving out of India, or when you are in India, you are always in the neighborhood of different religions. This we must keep in mind. Because of the recent, although we were secular all the time, but because of the recent history, the Constitution of India defines us as secular. But cultures and religions in India, as you know, is a vast thing. India, as a land of immigrants or invaders, is a multicultural and multi-ethnic. This is what affects you, how you act and how you react. Naturally, we have been having the Aryans coming into India. India as such, Alexander the Great was the first Western who came, and by the way, he came and visited India because of a couple of reasons, and one of them was that's what I was told, that one of the reasons is that he had heard the word elephant, but since Macedonia, where he came from, was not having a zoo where he could see elephant, he should come here. And naturally he said, you know the famous history of his fight against King Porus, and it was the diamond that was interesting for him. And naturally, we had, as immigrants, we had Jews and Parsis, Turks and Tartars, Iranis and Afghanis, Huns and Mongols, Nepalis and Bangladeshis, Tibetans, and naturally the last visitors or the people who came were from Portugal, Holland, Denmark, France, and last but not least, the Great Britain. This is the map As you see, this was a map, this was India with Sindhu as the border, and that is what we have been hearing all the time. That is because of the Sindhu, which the Persians pronounced as Hindu, and that became a geographical definition of all of us. But remember that Abrahamic religions and Hinduism, that means Sanatan Dharma, have got one little basic difference which we must keep in mind, is that Hinduism is inclusive as philosophy and in practice. Hindus are always been flexible to suit the new situation and survived by integration. The Abrahamic religions, that means the Jewish or Yehudi as we call it, the Christianity and Islam always claim themselves to be exclusive. This is a basic difference. But since we are inclusive and tolerant, in the Western and the international scene, the symbol of Hinduism is Om. As you know, there are many symbols, many designs, and one of the popular one for us here, I'm always happy to see here swastika. But because we are very tolerant, internationally we do not use swastika, we do not show swastika as it is. And this is something what the Western countries should recognize as our let's say, a tolerance or sacrifice. You all know this Dashavatar, and so let's come to Ram of Ramayana. And once again, a small little brainstorming. What do you think is a message, individual message for you, message for me, how to behave or what to do or what not to do as Ram? I'll be very happy to hear your reaction to it. We have been listening to this earlier as well. But what do you think for you in today's life, in today's situation, what are the message? What do you think you take as a message from Ram or Ramayana? Please. जोर से. Thank you.
Just in one word, Sadbhava.
Thank you. Anything else? Your personal lessons which you can use it in a day-to-day behavior, your individual behavior.
Behavior with all creatures.
ठीक है, आगे. Okay, I have noted down very quickly before attending this conferences, because here during this
भाई से भाई का प्यार, भाइयों में प्यार.
Please, we cannot go interactive because the time is short. You just finish your message, please.
I'll do that right now. Okay. These are the messages which I got it for me is try to be a perfect and do your duties. The only constant in the life is a change, and I must change my lifestyle as per the new situation. Gujarati is one of the local language which I know, and I remember in Gujarati a sentence which says, "Na janyu janki na the, savare shu thawanu che." So, and to reach the goal, I must take help from all the friends and reward them. And while performing the dedication and professional duties, you have to put your private and preferences aside. Similarly, the same thing is about the Mahabharata. We just cannot do the brainstorming about the role of the Krishna, but this is what I had noted down for me about the messages from the Krishna. Be a karma yogi, give your best in the given situation, and leave the rest. Each and every action has a reaction for each of us. As we knew from the Newton's third law of action is the reaction. And naturally, this is what I think practically, that this life is like a game of cards. You should make the best out of the given cards you have with you now in this life, rather than lamenting about the others and so on. So this is what the message, what I get from Bhagavad Gita, which I always tell also to my international clients, is karmani eva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, and so on. So now we can reflect back once again on all those values which you had noted down, which you had said, and we'll go further. So the last point is, what is our USP as 1,000 million strong Hindus internationally? Since we don't have time to do the brainstorming, I'll note down few of the things which I thought was interesting, which we should consider as unique selling proposition
Thank you. Thank
of
you very much,
Hinduism.
sir.
Thank
very
you.
much, sir.